Welcome back to WALEX. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. On Monday at noon, we've got the Housewives of Atlanta. Now, we've got Married to Miserable. And at 8 p.m. tonight, we've got Hot Topics. Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we've got Love and Hip Hop Miami. At 12 p.m., we've got the Housewives of Miami, last season refresher before the new season begins. And at 1 p.m., we've got Grosse Pointe Garden, or whatever the hell that show's called. On Wednesday at 11 a.m., we're starting our day off with a recap of the Housewives of Beverly Hills, followed by the Loveless and the Hip Hopless in Atlanta. At 1 p.m., we're coming out with some hot topics. On Thursday at 11 a.m., our Scandal and our How to Get Away with Murder recap. Followed by Saturday with Noon Pop Roast. And Sunday we have our 11 a.m. Open Forum. And at 3 p.m., our Bravo predictions. I'll see you soon for something. So I have realized something. I did not want Garcelle to be mean to Dorit while she was going through this divorce because I thought more of Garcelle. I thought Garcelle's not the type of woman to kick a woman while she's down. I thought more of her. I didn't want to think of her as a woman that would do that. A woman like Sutton. I have to say, this season of Beverly Hills, the women, it's sad. Like, we're going through divorces and we've been saying we've wanted lighter fare on our reality shows. But when it's real, it's real. And so we've had Erica's, financial fall from grace. And now we have Sutton. Now we have Kyle and Chip Heffa. And we are seeing that their men don't want them back. That their men have chosen in both of their cases to move on. And they were hanging on to those marriages because they really wanted them. And their men said no. Absolutely not. And I want to thank Garcelle for consistently bringing up, well, why can we talk about Mo's infidelities, but you're out at a, country concert out there having some finger-licking good fun. Let's just say that. You're out there scissoring in a circle. But we can't talk about that on the show. We can only bring up Mo and make him out to be a bad guy when all last year legs were up and open like this open forum. So why are we trying to make it look like Mo's some bad man who's out here frisky with young women? You moved on to a woman first. He said, "Oh, if we eating puss, I didn't know." Damn, she went and got herself a mouthful first. How are you talking? I just don't understand her consternation. That was the word of the episode last week. Consternation. When you got a mouthful of cooch-trination. Mouthful of coochie, ain't got country. Mouthful of coochie, no country. Mouthful of coochie. Girl. But worrying about what Mo doing. You're both muff diving. Let's see. Yeah, y'all can shimmy on in. But really, the episode, the only notes that I have are Bose and Kyle got to bond, and that was cute. And did I have anything else? I think that was it. It's just the divorces, and the divorces are so real. It's like, well, damn. We watched two women get left. Well, we watched two marriages end. But I mean, Kyle, you left first. Hello, Lauren.
Ooh, hey, Alex.
Oh.
Can you hear me all right?
Okay. All right. Now I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hello. Hey, Chad.
Hello.
Is there an echo on my end or no?
No.
Oh, okay. I wanted to chime in on the Jess hilarious topic. Yes. Please. Okay, so I think that Jess thoroughly embarrassed herself by playing into Corey Holcomb's hand, the internet's hand, and completely revealed all the insecurity that she had in that position. If we're just being honest, literally any Breakfast Club clip, whether it was on their own YouTube channel or across any platform that included Jess Hilarious before she left for maternity leave and even after she returned, was always just about the subpar job that she was doing, whether it was her inability to read, or she could barely read her name, her ill-informed commentary, whether it was just, from her own personal lack of education or just her being on the wrong side of history. She just was not good. And I too shared those same sentiments. But just as a fellow Black woman, I definitely wanted to extend her grace, because oftentimes Black women aren't given the same opportunity as other groups of people to grow in their position. So I'm like, okay, let me just see how she is in a year. Yeah.
I want to say, before, when they were like getting serious about hiring her, why didn't they disappear her for like a month and just put her in a room in front of a teleprompter, give her some hooked on phonics, sound out some words, anti-disestablishmentarianism, thorough, elegant.
Right. No, honestly, you can just tell that, and people kind of get on influencers for this. You could tell that she just was not able, you could tell that she was relying very heavily on her social media platform instead of like actually doing the real work to
now Lauren, I agree, But
Mhm.
I want to shift the onus of
Mm.
that work to the network that hired her.
I agree. I do agree.
Because because I'm not sure how old you are, but I am of a
29.
generation. Okay, so I'm a skosh older, and back then we had something called artist development,
Mm.
where they would take you and mold you and polish you and teach you etiquette and decorum. And oh no, those aren't really the trends and the beliefs. And here's not to answer. Here's how to put a non-answer out if you don't really need
Mhm.
to share something. Like she needed that
Yeah.
desperately because the network also leaned heavily on her social media presence. And let's be honest, they wanted her audience, maybe
True.
not her as much, but
Mm.
they wanted her audience, but they didn't want to pay. Instead
Yeah.
of paying and advertising to her audience and earning, they wanted it cheap and easy.
Mm. No, I completely agree with all of that. I completely agree, and I I just feel like not enough was done to bridge that gap. So, to bridge that gap, one initially, and then two, she had a baby, so she went on maternity leave, and I don't know if she was doing any work or whatever while she was at home, but when she left that space, Lauren came in and outperformed, overperformed her to the point where, if you juxtapose the comments in regards to Lauren's performance versus Jess's performance, every clip was like, oh my gosh, Lauren's amazing. They need to keep her. They need to keep her. They need to keep her. I think that one, this whole situation should have been handled behind the scenes. I honestly feel like it literally was just a, there was a mix up in communication. I think that they should have been more transparent in basically explaining to Jess that, yeah, when you return, because from my understanding, or at least what I've tried to piece together from what Jess has said, is that like when she was supposed to return, Lauren was basically supposed to leave. But they should have just been like, hey, while you were gone, Lauren did great, and we're gonna stick it out with her and see how things go. And I think that Jess, if she's being completely honest, should just say that, like, yeah, I was intimidated by that. Like, I really wanted this position. And now I see this girl basically coming in and kind of taking my role. And also, another caveat to that is Jess kept saying, oh, I gave Lauren this opportunity. I gave Lauren this opportunity. Ooh, excuse me. Um, but I think that was a little shady. Girl, who are you to give Lauren an opportunity? I think what she actually means is that the network said, hey, we want this person. So she kind of endorsed her, if you will. And I think that Jess was more ready to endorse, this quote unquote nobody, or, who she may have felt might have been forgettable. And it kind of sucks that this person that you thought may have been lesser than you is now coming and overtaking you. And I think that that is where that insecurity stems from. And I think that she just showed her hand in all of it, and it was embarrassing to watch, honestly.
It's definitely been like, ooh, girl, you are drinking the Kool-Aid. You are. I hope you've got your hour ready to walk away from this with a comedy, tour,
Right.
because you look like you ain't gonna have a job come Monday.
Mm.
And there's also a level of, I will say now, the network should have trained her better, yes, but there was also a point when she, as an artist, could have looked at the comments and said, okay, either I need to maybe step up or step out.
Mm. And I feel like she didn't do anything in response to the comments. Like, I think she just thought that the comments were people hating or trying to pit women against each other, which they may have been to a degree, but I don't think that she had enough self reflection. Because even in the way that she was describing, like, the commentary, it's like, girl, or the even in the way she was describing like the viewers' comments, um, you could just tell that she was missing the fact that like no, people liked Lauren not just because she could read, but because she was actually putting in significant work and like asking great questions during interviews. There were certain interviews where if you were not watching the actual video, you might not have even realized that Jess was in the room because of just how honestly bad she was doing. She was not as ready for the moment as I think the network may have believed. Um, and it just was, it was sad. Like, even watching the video, I'm just like, girl, don't you have anybody in your family to say, hey, to call you, text you, to interrupt that live because you're looking crazy? um, I could not believe that she allowed herself to go out like this. And also, um, I think it's interesting that no one is kind of like pointing out the fact that Charlemagne was low key stirring the pot a little bit when he told Jess to lean into the fact that like the viewers were pitting her and Lauren against one another. I'm like, I was watching their clips from earlier today, and I'm like, Charlemagne's acting like he can just glaze over this, and it's like, you were doing some dirty work in the background, sir. Like, don't think you're gonna just skate away with that.
I will say the one part of this that makes me I was sad to see is that the network, she came back from maternity leave and felt insecure about her position, and production didn't do anything to explain to her, like you were saying, what's going to be happening moving forward. It was clear that Lauren, with her journalistic approach, was just a better fit, right? Everybody was
Mm-hmm.
responding to that and enjoying it. But I still feel like um, it's really unfortunate that, you know, a lot of women go on maternity leave with the deep insecurity that they could lose their job. And the
True.
entertainment industry is different, but I feel that it's sad to watch a woman return from maternity leave and then two women are pitted against one another, and then now we're watching this awkward conversation. So I say shame on production for not handling whatever transition that they're trying to accomplish here. But I will say I was struck by what Armand Wiggins said, which is they're soft launching Lauren and they're not renewing Jess's contract. And that's kind of what this was starting to give.
Mm, it really is.
And I also feel like there's a level of that's why contracts are a year, because sometimes it's like, okay, let's see where this goes. But I really feel like it showed that the network wanted someone that they wanted to take a risk with, but they just went with Jess's numbers. But I feel like they didn't believe in Jess. And also, they should have hired somebody that they knew was going to leave rather than have this even be an option, which makes me feel like this was always in the back of somebody's head.
Mm.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everyone. I just had a couple of things to say. Um, I do feel like um, the way that the rollout was for Just Hilarious went all the way like left, right? So we have like everybody's coming to audition. We got Jason Lee, we got Claudia Jordan, then we had Just Hilarious. So all three of them were looking like, okay, who are they gonna pick? Because we got Claudia Jordan in the middle of the TGIF, frenzy that topped off the top of the year last year and ended up last of 2023, right? When Jess came in the rollout that they did with like her putting in the middle and this big old crown chair and everything like that, I love Jess Hilarious for this because I like when you get um, bloggers or people that come in that's not so out there, that's major journalists that come in and take these seats. I do, because honestly, I was pulling for when TGIF went left. I was pulling for Alex. Like I was always saying, I want Alex there. I want Alex there, right? And then Alex had a big year the year before, with everything that happened with the at Robocop. So I was pulling for Jess hilarious, and I still am. I don't like the fact that the thing I don't like is that as women, they're first of all pitting, in my opinion, two women against each other. But I think they're both doing that to each other as well. But I think that Jess is justified in saying, like, okay, so I'm coming back. Y'all know I announced my pregnancy on the show, right? I'm gonna come back and have my seat. But I did feel the same way that Jess felt. I was like, when she came back, it was like she didn't really get greeted with like a very warm welcome. It was like her segment was taken over by Lauren. And Lauren's good at what she does, but I would feel kind of the same way that Jess felt. You know what I mean? That's like if Chris leaves, like right now, Chris is on, his vacation. And Alex brought someone in to just stand in for Chris. And then when Chris comes back, it's like, okay, well, now I know this person is there for pop roast just while I'm gone. But then I come back and now I got to figure out, like, where am I at? You know what I mean? Like, for me,
Yep.
it just seemed weird. It just seemed weird to me. That's just my opinion.
Maternity leave debacle.
Yes, it just seemed a little too. And then I didn't like. I like sorry. I like the Breakfast Club. I've been watching the Breakfast Club for years. I've been watching Alex as long as I've been watching the Breakfast Club. Okay? So I've been watching it for years. I don't have a problem with Envy and Charlamagne and all them like a lot of people do, but I do feel like Charlamagne was playing too much in a time where it's like let them have a moment, a literal moment. This lady is literally shedding tears. Just because you've seen her shed tears before, maybe in a funny moment, she's really like upset about this. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It was weird to me.
I think the network handled, honestly, the transition from Angela Yee literally to finding the new co-host. I think they did a poor job. Um, One, like the whole revolving door. And then even when Jess was announced as the new host, they had Lauren there. They had some other ladies Skyping in for, I guess, like the political portion of the show. It was just so much going on, and that changed every single episode. Like, I don't know who needs to be fired, but there was
But
definitely
Lauren wasn't
like an
there
issue with
originally,
there was
though.
definitely an issue with like clarity.
Lauren wasn't originally there when Jess actually got the job. She
No,
wasn't
yeah, that's what I'm
originally
saying.
there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She wasn't originally there. So
No, she was. She was. She would pop in every now and then there was like this other girl, Nyla Simone, who I think leads another hour. And then there was this other lady. I'm completely blanking on her name, but she would be zoomed in for like the more politically like dense topics. So there was always like a plethora of voices, and it's like, okay, I thought Jess was supposed to be the new host, but now you're bringing in all these other people,
right.
which to me kind of like highlighted Jess's deficiencies the more, because it's like, okay, you're bringing in these other people because clearly Jess is not um, well educated or as equipped to contribute to these conversations substantially. And I think like that just was not great, and for her to leave for several
Bless
months,
you.
um, I think that just didn't help her case, unfortunately. um, but it just all was a mess.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I have a quick comment about the just hilarious thing. Um, I was hired at a temp agency one time for a hospital, and of course, the person she went out on, she had to have medical leave, so she's going to be out for a while. While in that job, was given a whole, binder on how to do that position. I excelled in that position the whole time she was gone. So when she came back, it didn't transition into me moving out of her position. What happened is that they basically made it a two death since she kept saying that she was overwhelmed. But when I came back, she realized that it was really only enough work for one death. Now I can't get upset with Lauren for coming in and smashing at the job. But then I can't be upset with Jess for feeling insecure. But when you live in an unsure climate like this, especially with the workforce, and now look at who's in the office right now, it lets you know the climate is unpredictable in a whole lot of things in life, especially employment. And I just felt that she kind of went on maternity leave. She had a baby too soon to me while she was in the position. I think she could have got a
Yeah.
little bit more time.
I can't say somebody had a baby too soon just because I have four and I've been in positions where I've had to take medical leave and I just
But
don't believe in
this is a very interesting job because this
Mhm.
isn't like a regular job. What it is like it's like selling tickets and then being pregnant.
Yeah, and she
That's
kept saying
very
that it was
different
only.
where I'm going to tell you I'm going to, show up. It's like, I mean, imagine if I was said, oh, we're going to have a live pop roast and then I show up pregnant. It's not going to be the same show.
And then
The
when
show
you have a position to where you're just hilarious on the show, that they bring people in all the time for guests. But if you're not a Beyonce or Rihanna or a Sierra, just hilarious having a baby slot time. Someone can be you. No one can be them. So to me, I wasn't saying that she waited to the wrong time to have a child. What I said is that her alignment of how long she was in her employment to me wasn't enough comfortable position for her to have taken at that time on a man show that's very, very much for men all the time. Even just today, just the nitpicking and telling her why she didn't come in with a do rag. This is something serious. This girl ran to the elevator and pressed a button, and it was to the point that they couldn't really communicate without the shenanigans. And it's like you said, this time she's been out, she's been knowing what's been an issue. She should have been practicing. She should have been doing a lot more, especially, excuse me, being from Baltimore, the accent and things like that, the pronunciation of things. She was going to have to work a little bit harder, but wouldn't it have been worth it?
I mean, Alex and I talked about this earlier. I do agree with you that the momentum was affected by when she went out on maternity leave. To settle in her seat and really kind of it changed the momentum.
I'll say
It's
it
like,
very plainly. Like, I think that she really had that baby at the wrong time. I'm not saying that she should have never had a child. I'm saying that it would have been more conducive to her career to wait maybe like a year or so.
I agree.
Because she kept saying, "Oh, we planned this, we planned this, we planned this." So I'm going off of that, saying like maybe you should have moved, not maybe, but rather you should have moved your timeline back a couple of months because like you said, it really did mess up the momentum. They came, announced a new co-host, and like a month or so later, you're gone for several months. Like that, that was crazy. Let me not say crazy, but like it just was not helpful or beneficial to her career.
because it's like selling it's like a tour that's postponed with a pregnancy. It's like,
Right.
okay, we don't know if the momentum for that album is going to go. Like, it's this, like A. Marie, it's like, it's the summer of that song, Why Don't We Fall in Love? It's never going to have that moment, that momentum again. Hit,
Right.
classic, yes, but it's never going to be that, oh my God, I've got to go to that tour.
And then there were so many people, even working in the hospital setting during COVID, there were so many nurses that made me pissed off because they were saying, how can people sit up and get pregnant during a pandemic? And it's like, excuse me, who in the hell thought we was about to have a pandemic? And then what are you going to do about the people that were pregnant before the pandemic that had to have babies during the pandemic? So it kind of that was, and then people were locked in their homes. with each other. What else were they going to do?
I think I haven't. Oh, go ahead, Alex. You want to say something?
Oh, I was also going to say, I feel like with Fox Soul, they want to lean into somebody with numbers rather than nurture new talent. Because really, what should have happened when when Angela left, they should have said, "Okay, we're going to have you and Charlemagne and NJ do a dad show." And something that was like in the Jesus and Meru like older man realm that they're in, and they should have brought in new younger talent for the Breakfast Club because they want a younger audience. Honestly, Jess Hilarious, like she may be younger, but her views are old millennial.
Very male identified.
That's true.
Male identified, older millennial, like, and so it works with an audience that's very misogynistic. But if you want to get Gen Z and the newer people, you're going to need something different.
That was going to be my point too, piggybacking off of what you said about her numbers. I may have well, first of all, hi everybody. What's up, Aaron?
Ray, my friend.
I was gonna say, piggybacking off of what Alex said about the numbers. I think that it was. I think that the showrunners or whoever runs the show knew that it may have been a mistake hiring her from jump.
Yup.
From jump, it was a lot of negative comments about how she performs in that position. Whether she was 2 weeks pregnant, first trimester, whichever it is. I think that they wanted to get someone else in there that could be a better fit and try them out. I think that's what they were doing all this time. And that's partially why they kept, what's her name? Lauren?
LaRosa.
Right, Lauren LaRosa. I believe that's why they kept her the way in the fashion that she was working in that position. Also, they could have explained things better to Jess. However, they run that show. So they gave her, I guess, enough info for her to do her job. And also listening to Jess, she sounded a little insecure within her own job, admitting that, that Lauren was better at this and at that, and also trying to change up things so that it doesn't seem like Lauren is doing her job, even though she was there. And it didn't help from all of the other similar jobs out there that they were really ragging on Jess and just really giving it to her. And it was not, I don't watch that show, but I see clips about what people are saying and hearing things about what people are saying about that whole time she spent there in the beginning. And like I said, from jump, she wasn't welcomed because it was the way she performed at work. And for her to go online and dog out her employer the way she has, and then have a so-called argument or fight with the person that looks like is replacing her, it just gives me TGIFTs all over again.
Say that.
Ray,
Doesn't
all
it?
day. I see you like on a lot of things. So I'm gonna ask you this. I agree with you. I do. I agree with you 1000%. However, do you think that them needing to fill that seat and with just having the numbers that she has, right? Because everything is all about social media and numbers and not about talent. When they brought in Lauren, and Lauren has the talent, but Jess has the looks, right? She has the eyes, right? Do you think that it was intentional to pit them against each other?
I don't see them pinting them against each other than
Mhm.
the co-host on the show.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, like DJ Envy and Charlemagne,
Well,
like coming
they're
in.
idiots. So they're
Yeah.
going to do things that aren't right anyway. They've been doing things that aren't right for years on and off the show. So I really can't trust them to do the right thing in any capacity. They are about the numbers, they're about controversy. So, I really can't trust them. But yeah, they're going to do whatever they can so that numbers can be drawn to the show and people will listen, pick up, because that's what they do.
Let me ask this:
And
do we think this is a
you can
stunt?
honestly see. Oh, sorry.
What do we think this is a stunt?
No,
No,
this is not a
no,
stunt
not at
because
all. It's not a
if
stunt.
you watch the stuff,
No.
like if you watch the videos, Jess has been irritated since she got back because one,
Yeah.
Lauren is a professional. Lauren, when she's reporting a
Mm-hmm.
story, she's already researched it. And if it's one thing that has always annoyed me about Jess Hilarious, just offering my opinion here, that hoe is not prepared. She's over here mispronouncing stuff, giving half-ass opinions, not fully looking into the situation. If we're going to compare this to TGIF, she's Al Reynolds.
Hold on. One more time. I can't let a good joke go by. Her ass is not prepared.
Not Jess Reynolds.
But, but here's the thing. No, but I agree with you. That was Lauren that said that, right? Lauren, you're the one that just said that, made that comment?
No,
No.
Shady Girl.
Oh, okay. Look, let me tell you, I agree. She is ill prepared for what Lauren came in to do. And Lauren came in with a journalistic perspective of everything. She's gonna fact check. She's gonna fact check the person that fact checked it and then come to you with what she knows, right? She was the one that literally came and broke one of the biggest stories in 2025, and we only in March, right? With Wendy Williams.
She
She came
went
in.
to Wendy's. She went to Wendy's
Yes.
place of residence. She
Yes, she
said
did.
they told
Yes.
me she is not there. That is a TMZ
Yes.
training, right? That was impressive. I
Yes.
will say.
Yes.
Exactly. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I have been watching Jess Hilarious since like when she was on the Vines or whatever it was. And so I like her being funny. When it comes down to her giving me facts, we know we cannot depend on DJ Nimby, what'd you call him, Alex? Nevy. Yeah, we can't depend on him. We know Charlamagne gonna make a joke about every damn thing, or darn thing, excuse me. We know that Jess is gonna have the Jess with the mess where she sees something on the surface and she's gonna talk about it and make comments and jokes about it, which is fine because we like that loose, fun, not too heavy reporting, right? We do like
DJ
that.
Envy is getting sued for millions of dollars for his involvement in that alleged Ponzi scheme
Right.
that his
But
He
business
keeps that
partner
stuff too.
is
But
being
this is what
prosecuted for in federal court.
But here's the thing too, Alex. Another thing that everybody tends to forget, and I don't like this broad at all. This HEAUXO Eric Kamena that we don't talk about. Well, he didn't want to bring that up. He went to his wife and apologized, but he won't bring up like and actually say, "Oh, I've been with this girl." He won't bring up the fact that he done banned Safari from coming up there. They was good friends until he got with the girl that he wasn't with no more. Like they got their own faults and own everything. So this is why I'm like, when it comes down to you
Also,
trying to
another thing, the fact that you had to bring up it, like Erica Menace, Safari, all these people that are my age, old hoes.
my age, because I'm 42.
Oh, I'm
We
42.
both 42.
They are old hoes. We
Right.
the old hoes now. I want, as somebody who reports on the news, I want to talk about the young hoes.
Zennial
It's
hoes.
embarrassing, and that's what we've been talking about with the hip hop, love and hip hopification of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Is when you are still doing, it's okay to be a young, fresh-tailed hussy when you're 23. It was
Yeah.
okay to be
Mhm.
Portia when she was 28, but you still doing the same things at damn near 48? I
Yeah,
mean,
Her
that's
why?
brain
crazy.
is not developed. Her frontal lobe is still wide open.
Nah, that's supposed to develop at 25, and I don't understand. That's supposed to be for men. So she should have been developed at least 22. There ain't no reason for people to still have this. This is a whole different conversation. I'm gonna tell you
It's
right now.
called lead
Y'all
pipes.
don't get me started on Portia, baby. Don't get.
We
I'm a
all got
zip
something
it.
to say about
Baby, she
Portia
was
Child.
eating lead chips. That's why she's slow. She was in Atlanta
Oh,
public schools now. And this is
I will
before charter
say
schools.
I am really impressed with some of the investigative work that Lauren LaRosa has already done. And part of that makes me interested to see what she could bring to the Breakfast Club as they continue. I mean, because let's be honest, that interview that Charlemagne hooked up and then kind of her following up with it the way that she has may very well get Wendy the kind of public exposure that finally gets her out of this thing.
Absolutely.
And that's
And,
powerful.
And
and
not
you know
only
what?
that, it was the
Another thing
connection
that
with
she
like
should have been
Jason
doing.
Lee and the other people. Like she has connections in the industry. And the girl's funny. They didn't want to take a chance on her because she didn't have the audience. But by putting her up front, people are now liking her. She's getting that audience. She's
Yeah.
being objective. Baby, when you got what God gives you, show it. Get your money, get your work.
And that's exactly it. They didn't want to pay for the advertising to have somebody on that, okay, they're not new. They didn't want to invest. What they don't realize is now that we're in this new era of social media, there are no more unknowns. There is no such thing as unknown talent anymore. Because the moment you're in a high school production of something, there is social media about it. The moment
Yep.
you sign to an agency, there's a social media. So there's no more unknowns. There's only the not so popular, the medium popular, and the very popular. And so you're going to have to pick from that. What happens is they want the very popular because that comes with quote unquote numbers. That doesn't work though. You're going to have to invest. And that's a word that these networks hate. I mean, look at Fox Soul. This. Ah, it's like kryptonite. It's like telling, white people to shower. I mean,
Uh-uh.
but
Lord
But season
Jesus.
their food.
The
oh,
way that you said that was how Al was yelling at that producer. Do it again. Say
no,
how Al was yelling.
but
It's not, but Alex, it's not about telling white people to shower. It's about telling them. It's like telling them to shower with a washcloth, because that's when it becomes an issue. You get what I'm saying?
it's the men. Them men love to go. I don't know what it is, but it's just something. I don't know. California, they love to do day funky out here, but it's. I'm getting off topic.
It's
It
not
it
just the men. The women like to smell like dogs too. They like to smell like copper pennies and dog
oh,
food.
Oh my God. Can we not?
I've been around enough. Especially if the rain
oh,
hit them, it's like they melt like
but
Medusa.
what they
Only
have to
Robin
do,
Dixon.
remember the radio days of old. Ooh, remember, I said, it's the time during the morning
I
show.
miss them.
They had that group and they marketed that group together. And that's what radio stations need to start doing. You want the Breakfast Club, you've got to market them as a group rather than trying to have three famous people that bring three different audiences together. That's not how this is going to work. You have to market them as a group and their chemistry. And that was something that you couldn't do because they didn't have it.
And to be
You know what I
honest,
think will work
Lauren
best?
having
there,
all
you know
four,
that they get some of the top secret stories, the top secret links from TMZ, her connections with TMZ. So they get some of the top story updates from Lauren anyhow.
Can I say this? I want Lauren to be there because, like I said, she brings the facts to the show. I'm gonna be honest. If it has to be this, what we're seeing today and what we've seen over the last couple of days with the social media, the crashing out, or whatever they like to call it these days, I would rather it honestly be DJ Envy and Charlemagne, right? If we gonna go with the core, I want y'all to hear me out. and then just bring in people, bring in like how they was doing, like bring in a TS Medicine, bring in a Funky Dineva, bring in a Alexander Rodgers, bring in, different people and try them out for real, and just bring them in until you get somebody that you like. This is what we're gonna do because this ain't it. This
You
ain't
know
it.
what? That's a great
They did
idea.
that before and they didn't find anybody. And I
Because
think
I don't think that they gave it time though, Alex. I don't think that because what they was doing was going through with the same three people. They were going through with Claudia, what's that boy name? The refrigerator dude.
Nope.
Uh,
because
Jason
I will
Lee.
tell
Jason
Jason Lee,
Lee.
because the truth is all of us are too old for that job. For what
No,
they are
they all
going
older
for.
than y'all. They all older than us. Alex, I just turned 42 March
I know,
9th.
so did I. And I'm telling you, for that position, we are kind of like for that Breakfast Club early morning. Now, I'm not saying for pop culture commentary, but we are more in the we need to be on our Wendy Williams on our View than doing a early morning shock job. Like they need to be moving into different parts of their careers. Like the
But
fact that they're trying.
do you not think that Pop Roast is more popular than Just with the Mess?
Of course
I
it
know
Pop
is.
that,
Roast is more popular than that. And
but
y'all
we
do young everything.
well
It
we
doesn't
talk
matter what age.
we talk about young things, but we also have the references of our age and we cater to our audience.
And
I definitely feel
they
like the Breakfast Club wants a younger audience where we enjoy the audience we have.
Well, why not shake it up? Let's put in Alexander Rogers, right? And then let's go with like let me see who's younger, Armand. And then the next week we go to like a Chris, and then the next week we go to like a Scotty by Nature, and then the next week we go to Bondi. Like we can shake it up in the age groups and then find out what fits because the stuff that they think that fits because they feel like everybody's watching. I don't always watch the people that they are putting on here on their to be on their main platform all the time. I don't give a damn what they want to talk about. I don't care. I want to hear a little shake up. I really don't really care about what the younger people got to. I have a 22-year-old, so he about to be 23. But it's interesting to hear the point of view, right? So for me, shake it up a little bit. Don't just try to fit one person in that specific. That's just my opinion.
I
I
also
feel like
think
pop
maybe
rules
it
covers
just needs
everything.
to be an open chair. Like instead of trying to find a permanent third person,
Exactly.
this needs to be an open
Exactly.
chair where people can come in and offer their opinions. It brings excitement because you never know who's coming that week. You can get
At least for
young
a
people
year.
who are striking lightning, who are going viral. You can bring somebody in who has a special project. And then you can still have Lauren giving the facts and giving the reports. But I think there's just too much ego happening behind the scenes because it's one thing I noticed with Jess and her crash out, as we're calling it. I felt like she was being gaslighted by Charlemagne the Queen.
She
And
was.
it's a lot of that. And I'm like, y'all, give her some grace. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't really care for Jess. But y'all have been playing in her face with Lauren. Lauren's a producer on the show. She's just trying to do her job. And y'all are pitting these women against each other the same way that y'all
Exactly.
used to pit
Yep.
Angela Yee against other women on the show. That's why
I
Jess
said the
got
same
slapped out by K
thing.
Michelle and other women.
Boom. She did. They did the same thing with K. Michelle and Angela Yee. Like at the end of the day, I'm not an Angela Yee fan like that. Like I said, I've been watching the show for a long time, since like 15 years. I've been watching it. I feel like when K. Michelle came on there, when these women go back and forth, these guys can play all day. Somebody can buy, one of them can buy somebody a butt and say what they gonna do to their butt and all this other stuff, but then they get all in their feelings when it's like, oh, they might be this way or that way, and then they like to play. with the LGBT community, IA plus community, and they like to do that. But don't nobody really want to talk about that. But now that these girls are literally having like something that really means something, like, oh, I was leaving, you were supposed to, when I came back, leave or fall back a little bit. Now you want to make jokes about it. It's not funny. It's just not funny to me. Like, let's take this seriously. Let's not pit these two black women, in my opinion, against each other. Yes, they need to not really take focus and care about what the comments and things are saying. Okay, we can agree to that, but we're all human. We're all human. I didn't get to be 42 years old to not see that some things I post on social media, people have things to say, and I'm like, I don't give a damn. Or I might respond back. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, this is an ugly situation. And I don't like when people say it's not real. It is real. This is a real situation.
It's just been a lot of pitting going back there. It's been a lot of cockfighting, or in this case, coochie fighting. And Charlamagne and them been running the show. And it's just like y'all keep doing this toxic mess. And honestly, when Jess came back, why couldn't they just say Jess? We've seen with Lauren, she's been very good with doing research, being able to fact check. This is something that our audience like. If you want to continue in this role, can you please start doing this? Because we've noticed when you were doing it, you were mispronouncing people's names. You weren't aware of the situation. You were not prepared. That's a valid critique. And if the hoe didn't want to step up to the plate, kick her ass off. Sorry.
I
And then
think you
here's
should
another thing
apply for
too.
producer.
You know
You would
what's
do a
another
better
thing
job.
too? You know what's another thing too? They make it because they only show us about an hour of the show. They are on air for 4 hours. There's enough time for both of these ladies to have their own segments. They're on air from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. I know I'm on the West Coast right now, but I know I lived in New Orleans and I was in, Central Standard Time or whatever. But they're on air for 4 hours. So the things that we do see, even with the podcast, and even when they go on, a lot of times on Tubi, on Tubi they give you the full thing. But they are on air for 4 hours. You mean to tell me with four people on there, we can't get at least 30 minutes for Jess, 30 minutes for Lauren? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
That's fair. That's a choice.
Well, I want to thank everybody for joining me. We've been hitting about an hour, and I think this is a great place for us to put a pin in it. And I will see y'all soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and email Rodgers Ringtones for a unique and sassy ringtone. Email me the script that you would like, and for $5, the ringtone is yours. Tell a kin, tell a friend, tell that heifer you hate.